up, everyone? It's Bearded Poker. I got an action-packed vlog coming right up. Hope you enjoy. Let's get into the hands. First hand of the vlog here at the Poker House, and we have 10-9 offsuit on the small blind. There is a button straddle to $5. It folds all the way to me, and I go ahead and make the call. Big blind calls as well, and button decides to check his options. So we're going three ways to the flop, and the flop comes out Jack 10-5 rainbow. Not too bad of a board for us, as we do have middle pair and also a gut shot to the straight. I check my option to the big blind, and big blind leads out for $10. Button folds, and I tank for a bit and go ahead and make the call. Looking to peel a turn, see if it'll improve our hand in any way. If not, we'll fold. Turn comes out a 10. What a great card for our hand. We improved the trips. Our hand is extremely disguised. I go ahead and check to the aggressor here, and he throws out another bet of $25. I don't want to raise here and polarize my hand, so I just call, looking to really get some money in on the river. The river comes out an ace, and after I checked my opponent again, he actually throws out a bet of $75 this time. This is a very interesting bet, as we were feeling pretty confident about our hand. Does our opponent have the other 10? There's 3 of the 4 10s accounted for already, so that's pretty unlikely. So then I started to think a little deeper and think maybe he has a set of jacks, set of fives, and he's boated up now. And so we're behind this whole way. So all these thoughts are rolling in my head. And this is why I decided just to go with the call. In my mind, I'm thinking I'm losing the minimum here if I'm behind. And sure enough, our opponent shows ace jack. Pretty disappointing there. I should have raised. I shouldn't have scared myself into just a call. But I don't know. I don't think he would be calling a raise anyways if I throw out a bet of, let's say, $200. So comment down below. Let me know what you guys think, if I played this incorrectly or not. I'd like to hear from you guys. Give me some feedback. Alrighty, on to the next one. Alrighty, next hand up, and this one still stings a little bit. We have Queen Jack offsuit in the cutoff. Under the gun one leads for $15. Hijack and myself make the call. We're going three ways to a flop, and this flop gives me a glimpse of hope with Jack 5 Queen. We have top 2 pair here. What a board. Under the gun one continues the aggression for $15. Hijack folds, and I go ahead and make the call. I thought about raising for a bit, but I feel like my hand would be a little face up if I did, and I want to allow my opponent to continue barreling into me with his one pair type holdings, such as your king jacks and your king queens. Those are hands that I definitely can continue to get value from. Turn probably comes the worst card that I could ever ask for. I even look at the dealer and be like, come on, bro, really? Nah, I'm just kidding, I didn't do that. But the turn comes out a king. Such a bad card for my hand. If I put him on the range of king, jack, king, queen, he just got there. And my 2 pair is pretty much worth nothing. To make matters worse, he throws out a bet of $30, and I tank for a bit, and I decide on a call. I'm hoping that on the river, since I've called him down on both streets, that he would just simply check, and we can check it down and get the showdown. River comes out a deuce. Pretty blank card, all things considering. And once again, he throws out another bet of $30, the same amount. I'm more curious than anything. There are times when it serves me well, and there are times when it doesn't. And this is one of those times where it doesn't. I throw out the $30, and he shows king jack. Man, what a brutal run out for us. Especially because I pretty much narrowed his range to king jack or king queen. It was pretty spot on, and I still couldn't get away from it. So tough run out for me, but oh well, we'll shake it off. On to the next one. Next hand up, we have ace 3 of spades in the hijack. We get a few limps, we get a few folds, and I raise it at $15. I get 2 callers from the big blind and the low jack. 3 ways to a flop, and the flop is fairly dry. Deuce 3-7. We do have middle pair, but that's about it. It is a rainbow board, so we check all the way around. Turn comes out a 5. Not too bad of a card for a hand, as we improve to a gut shot to the straight with any 4. We still have an overcard, as well as our pair of 3s. Big blind decides to throw out a bet of $35. Low jack folds, and back to me. This is a pretty interesting sizing to choose. Pretty big bet. Almost seems like he just wants to take it down. I go ahead and make the call. There are a lot of river cards that can improve our hand. Any 3, any 4, any ace, and I think we'll take the lead. The river comes out an ace, baby. That's what I'm talking about. Top two pair here. There is a flush draw out there on the board, however, and when he checks to me, I take this as a sign of weakness. I think of a bet sizing that I think he would call. He has his cards already in his hand, looking like he just wants to get to showdown already. I think for a bet and decide with a sizing of $25. I think this is a good sizing that he'll make the call just out of curiosity. And sure enough, he takes for a bit and throws in the $25 chip, and we scoop the pot. He shows down pocket sixes, saying that he said that was the perfect sizing. I wouldn't have called a penny more. Worked out for us. Alrighty, on to the next one. We have pocket fours in the cutoff. There is a button straddle to $5. Hijack raises it to $15. I go ahead and make the call. Small blind calls, and button decides on a call as well. So we're going 4 ways to a flop, and the flop comes out Ace 7-8 Rainbow. Not really a good board for our hand. Checks all the way to the hijack, the initial aggressor, who leads out for $45. No way I'm peeling one to see the next card with pocket fours. I go ahead and fold, and so does everyone else. On to the next one. Next hand up, we have pocket fives in the under the gun position. There is a $5 straddle on the button. I go ahead and make the call, and so do 3 others. I didn't get a chance to jot down their positions because I was already involved in another hand right away. So we're going 4 ways to the flop. But before I get onto the flop, I want you guys to imagine going to your favorite restaurant and getting your favorite plate of food. That's right, you have that picture in your head? My favorite restaurant is Kenny's Woodfire and Grill. It's a steakhouse out in Addison, Texas. My favorite plate is the New York strip. Well, the whole point of that is, that's what I'm being served here when the flop comes out. 5 deuce deuce. That's right, baby. We flop a boat right out of the gate. I decide to check it to my opponents, being that we hit this board so hard, and this is also a very dry flop, and unfortunately checks all the way around. We're hoping someone improves on the turn, and the turn brings out the 8 of diamonds. So there's now 2 flush draws on the board. This has to be a card that connects with someone now, so I lead for $15. Low jack raises it up and 3 bets me to $55. Folds all the way back to me, and I decide on a call, hoping to allow my opponent to continue with all his bluffs, or maybe to allow my opponent to hit his flush on the river, because that's basically what I'm putting him on. The river comes out the 9 of diamonds. One of the flush draw gets there, specifically the backdoor flush draw. I don't want to check it to him and go check, so I lead for an amount of $100. This roughly puts him about all in. He tanks for a bit, and then he ends up lifting his cards, shows me ace king of hearts, and folds. So he actually had the first flush draw, which were the 2 hearts that came out on the flop. What an unfortunate run out. I really wish that 9 of diamonds was the 9 of hearts. I definitely would have gotten paid. But either way, we scoop a pretty nice sized pot. On to the next hand. After that pocket fives hand, there was some commotion that was kind of happening towards the end of the hand. And I will say that the poker house management staff, floor staff handled it very well. I ended up going against that very opponent who was kind of acting out. I have ace queen offsuit in the small blind. There is a button straddle, of course, to $5. It seems like every hand's a button straddle. Gets all the way to the low jack coup, bets out $15. I go ahead and make the call, so does middle position. So we're going 3 ways to a flop, and the flop comes out very well for our hand, ace 7-4. There are 2 clubs on the board. I check to the low jack, knowing that he's going to be leading here. He seems like he's playing very tilted now, and sure enough, he throws out a bet of $20. I go ahead and make the call, middle position folds. We're going heads up to the turn now. The turn comes a deuce, pretty blank card all things considered. We both go check. River comes out the 8 of diamonds, and I go ahead and lead out for $35. He very quickly snap calls. I show my hand, and we win. I'm assuming he has some kind of a flush draw or maybe a weaker ace, but pretty much after that, he ends up leaving. Oh well, on to the next one. This is the final hand of the vlog, guys. I know, sad times, but guess what? This hand is a chip. Crazy hand in play. We have king queen of clubs in the hijack. There is a $5 button straddle. Limps a few ways to the low jack, who raises it up to $15. I go ahead and make the call, and so does the button. We're going 3 ways to the flop. The flop comes out fairly well for our hand. Deuce 3-4 with the deuce 3 of clubs. So we have 2 overcards and also a draw to the second nut flush. Low jack grabs some chips. Looks like he's ready to bet out. He has about $25 in his hand and then instead knocks on the table and checks. Pretty interesting line that he decided to take here. He was either trying to attempt a bluff or he has a very good hand and he's trying to come off as weak. Either way, we want to get some more money in this pot with our hand. So we lead for $20 here. Button makes the call. Back to the low jack, and the low jack does something very interesting here. He 3-bets it all the way up to $120. Wow, that's what was running in my head. Wow, what a bet. I'm not feeling too good about this. He could already have a pretty solid hand. All I'm really drawing to is a second nut flush. I'm in the tank for a while, but I just cannot stop thinking about the information that he gave me earlier when he decided to check with the money in his hand instead of throwing it in the pot. All of these details convince me on a call. I'm hoping that the button will come along. That way it gives me even better odds to continue. However, the button folds. So we're heads up to the turn, hoping for a good turn card. The turn comes out of beauty. It's the 5 of clubs, improving us to the king high flush. My opponent checks to me. This leads me to believe that he most likely has either a 1 club type hand or he doesn't have a club at all. Just in case he does have the ace of clubs, I want to charge the max. I decide to jam all in for my remaining stack, which is about $160 effective. That's what I'll win if he decides on making the call. He tanks for a bit, and then he ends up folding face up and shows ace 5 of diamonds. So he actually flopped a straight. It says out loud that he was protecting his hand, hence why he threw out such a big bet. And it just so happened that I got there on the turn. Pretty good run out for us. Definitely some adrenaline was pumping there. And I'm not gonna lie, I almost folded there. I'm glad I didn't. I'm glad I thought it through. And we scoop a pretty sizable pot. This ends the session. Hope you enjoyed all the content. Hope it was exciting enough. Thanks for tuning in and staying till the end. Much appreciated. This ends the vlog. Hope you guys enjoyed the content. It's always a great way to go out when you go out with a win. Profit of $328. Thank you, Poker House, for having me. Well, if you like what you see here, guys, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. It's really mean a lot to me. I'd really appreciate it. Definitely shows your support. And for those of you who have already subscribed and already like and already follow my channel, thank you so very much. I really, really appreciate it. Stay safe out there. Bearded Poker out.